Hi, my name is Azizjon Turabayev, and here I am to answer some questions regarding my application process to BME University. Well, the first question was about my educational background. Well, I had studied in two schools, and the first school I studied in was the Fifth State School in Tashkent, in Uzbekistan, which is considered to be the best school in the whole Uzbekistan. I studied there until the 9th grade, and I maintained a GPA of 5 there, and got a very strong foundation in math, physics, and English. And also, I was awarded a prize that is called Pride of School, which is given to top 3 best students in the whole academic year. And after that, I decided that I want to dive into more rigorous academic environment, and I applied to academic lyceums and was accepted by second best academic lyceum in Uzbekistan, which is Academic Lyceum under Westminster International University in Tashkent. There, I maintained a GPA of 4.92 and with only 4 in law. Also, I got 5 on physics and astronomy and maths, which were my best and which were my favorite subjects. And also, I was given a prize that is called Pride of Lyceum, which is given to top 3% of performers in the whole lyceum for the full academic year. Well, now let's move to the second question. The second question was about my relation to aviation. And when it comes, and every time I think of this, I remember how I saw my first ever fighter jet. We were on the way to recreational dawn, which we usually visit with my family. And on the way there, I've seen a white trace in the sky, and I asked my father what was this trace is. And he said that it was a fighter jet, military fighter jet. And I was interested, and he just suddenly turned and headed to Abandoned Hangar. And there, I've seen a lot of jets, different jets, civil jets, private jets, fighter jets. 5-year-old me was so fascinated with this whole picture, with this whole big, massive creature standing there, over there, that I decided for myself that I want to be a pilot one day. What inspired me even more was the fact that my father myself was a military pilot. He told me this story about how he was a military pilot during the times of the Soviet Union, when he was a military pilot in Ukraine. He showed me his medals, his photographs of all of it, and I was even more fascinated, and I was even more inspired to be in this field and to contribute to this field. Now let's move to the third question. The third question was about my flight experience. And well, for now I had experienced the flight only once, and it was a night flight from Khiva to Tashkent. And this flight, I would describe this flight as a visit to a good restaurant. Let me elaborate on that. Every time you visit a good restaurant, they pour you some wine so that you can taste it and then decide whether you like it or not. And this flight can be described like this. I stepped into this whole aircraft, and I experienced the flight itself, and I was so overwhelmed, I was so over the moon. Even so, it was an experience from the perspective of a passenger. Still, it was something close to my future profession. And as soon as I was home, as soon as I was Tashkent, as soon as the flight ended, some kind of a question appeared in my mind. So, you like it? And the answer was, yes, I'm definitely in. I want to contribute to this field. I want to do my best for the same aviation-driven people like me, and for those who entrust their lives to us. And now let's move to the first question. The first question was about whether I own any pilot certificate in my country. Unfortunately, for now, I do not obtain any kind of a pilot certificate in Uzbekistan, but I plan to take it as soon as I arrive to Hungary. And well, that's it. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. See you. Bye.